Somebody just watched over 1,000 Bitcoin disappear in 41 minutes. Not a phishing scam, not a stolen laptop. A hardware wallet, the exact kind of device people buy specifically to be safe. If you own a cold card or honestly any single hardware wallet, watch this. By end, I'll show you exactly what I'm doing with my own Bitcoin because of it. And also a cheeky narrative that is going to get a lot more attention because of this incident. On July 30th, 2026, an attacker drains 1,191 Bitcoin addresses in 41 minutes. Over 1,000 Bitcoin gone, about $70 million at the time. That was just wave 1, because by August 2nd, 3 waves, 1,367 Bitcoin, 4,500 addresses. Bloomberg and Fortune later put the total past a whopping $100 million. Here's what should actually unsettle you. The attacker didn't hack anything in real time. The flaw was planted 5 years earlier, a firmware code change on March 1st, 2021, that silently broke how Cold Card generated your seed phrase. A seed phrase is the master key to your wallet. Whoever has it owns the coins. So security comes down to that one single thing. How many possible seed phrases exist, and how fast could someone search all of them? Here is a real yardstick. Right now, every Bitcoin miner on the planet combined is running about 900 exahashes of computation every second. 9 followed by 20 zeros non-stop day and night just to secure the network. A correctly generated 24-word seed has 2 to the 256 possible combinations. Point that entire global mining network that is used to secure Bitcoin right now at nothing but cracking one seed running nonstop, and you would not get through a meaningful fraction of it before the sun itself burns out. That's what unhackable is supposed to mean. But here is what the bug actually did with Cold Card. That code change swapped the device's real hardware randomness for a predictable software generator. Owners saw nothing wrong. The seed still looked random on a screen, but the pool it was actually chosen from had collapsed to a sliver of that scale. At the same network hash power, an attacker could tear through every single possibility in the broken pool in less time than it takes you to blink. It sat there undetected for 5 years. And moving that seed to a new device, even a different brand, doesn't save you. The attacker isn't hacking your device, they're searching the pool directly. The only fix is a brand new seed on patched firmware and sweeping your funds across. One thing did protect people: seeds built from 50 independent dice rolls instead of trusting the device's own randomness, which tells you exactly why quietly trusting any one company's randomness generator is a bigger gamble than it looks, as the risks are not in the company but in the firmware. And here's the uncomfortable part: bugs like this are about to get found a lot faster by everyone, not just the good guys. The number of software vulnerabilities discovered in 2026 is on pace to double last year's total, and researchers point to one reason: AI. Google's own threat data shows the average gap between a vulnerability going public and someone exploiting it has now dropped below zero. Attacks routinely start before a patch even exits. Frontier models built specifically for this job are already finding 0 days that survived decades of human review. Anthropic's Claude Mythos has autonomously surfaced thousands of critical vulnerabilities. OpenAI's Soul is racing to match it on the same benchmarks. And as this capacity spreads into cheaper, more widely available tools, it stops being something only a handful of researchers have access to. A quiet flaw sitting in one company's codebase for 5 years, like Cold Card, is about to get a lot harder to keep quiet for attackers finding it too. Naturally, this breach reignited one question: what actually protects you? For regular people, not crypto native power users, the most talked about answer right now is BitKey, the self custody wallet from Block, the company behind Cash App and Square. It's two of three multi-sig dressed up simple: one key on your phone, one key on the hardware device, one key held by BitKey's own servers. You hold two of the three, so BitKey physically can't move your funds without you, since you have two keys on your phone and on your wallet, and one stored on the server separately. And if the company vanished tomorrow, an offline emergency exit kit lets you recover without their servers at all. That server held key sits inside an AWS Nitro enclave, which is hardware insulated, built by a team with real custodian infrastructure experience. So, for someone moving off an exchange for the first time, this is a legitimate upgrade because no seed phrase is there to lose. But it has real trade offs. No screen on the hardware key. Every serious hardware wallet makes you verify the transaction on your independent screen. BitKey verifies on your phone instead, the same phone that can get infected or could be brute force attacked. Your fingerprint unlocks both your phone and the hardware key. Someone physically, and you are one step from losing two of your keys because in brute force physical attacks, your fingerprint can access both the devices. And the big one, all three legs run through Block's own code and infrastructure: the app, the firmware, the server, one company end to end. BitKey's 2 of 3 design still protects you if one leg fails alone, but a compromised update in Block's own pipeline could touch more than one leg at once. And hence, that's a very different risk profile from true cross vendor multi-sig. But here is why a cross vendor multi-sig is the safest option and something that I'm actually building, and why it directly answers everything that we just covered. Still a 2 of 3 multi-sig, but every key comes from a different manufacturer running completely independent firmware. A Trezor Safe 3, a Blockstream Jade Core, and a Bitbox O2 Nova, coordinated through a free desktop tool called Sparrow. Quick rundown on what each one actually brings to the table. Trezor Safe 3, the industry's oldest, most audited code base, sitting behind a secure chip certified to EAL6 plus criteria, the same certification class used in passport chips. Fully open source, your PIN unlocks a secret inside that chip, and that secret unlocks your seed. Blockstream Jade Core, no secure chip at all. Instead, your PIN gets checked through what's called a blind oracle, a remote checker that can confirm you're right without ever actually seeing your PIN, and also fully open source, so you can even run your own oracle instead of trusting Blockstreams. Bitbox O2, a dual chip design, one chip runs the screen and buttons, a separate chip guards the seed and unlocks, needs three separate secrets, not one. Also fully open source with a Bitcoin only edition that strips out everything you don't need. Here's why spreading across three code base matters more right now than it did in a few years ago. We just talked about how AI models are tearing through old firmware and finding bugs that survived decades of review by humans. That threat lands entirely on whatever built the one code base your funds depend on. In a cross vendor vault, it doesn't. If an AI model or a human researcher surfaces a flaw in Trezor's firmware tomorrow, my Jade and Bitbox keys are running code that's never touched Trezor's. An attacker needs two independent bugs in two different company softwares just to reach my funds. A simple step list is how I'm trying to do so is follows. How it all comes together is you set up all three devices completely independently, three unrelated wallets, three separate seeds. You open Sparrow, you plug in each device and export its public key, right? Which is extremely safe to do so, since a public key, also known as XPUB, can only read a balance and never move funds. Keep all three devices on the same address type, native SegWit or Taproot, whichever you choose, and Sparrow throws errors. If, and this is very important, if you choose different wallet types like SegWit on one and Taproot on others, the Sparrow will throw errors. So make sure it's all either native SegWit or Taproot across all. Build a new 2 of 3 multi-signature wallet, import all of these XPUBs, and Sparrow merges them into a single vault address. You save that configuration file. It's not a seed, but treat it with the real care. Before funding it for real, you can test it with a small amount and spend it back and forth, and that is how it will work for you, and you'll be able to test it in real time. Then you just split the backups. Each seed goes to a separate physical location, never storing two seeds at the same place. Every device also verifies the address on their own screen, something that BitKey can't do, by the way, and none of it depends on any company's server staying online. Because whenever you sign a transaction, or the hacker tries to sign a transaction, if they are only signing it from one of the three devices, they would still need another one device which still stays with you and it is not hacked, hence saving you a massive grace. But why am I actually doing this? I'm not covering this for a good story. This is what I'm doing with my own Bitcoin this week. People trust what I say about the space, and after watching a breach hit a device thousands trusted completely, it shook me up. And I couldn't keep saying self custody is safer without stress testing my own setup built against this exact failure that just played out. So I'm rebuilding mine, cross vendor, documenting the whole thing. So you see how doing actually this whole process properly feels like. And the BitKey thing, although is very easy to set up for the normies, but hey, I just wanted to be extra cautious and safe.